Hello and welcome back to another video from lottiejasminedesigns. Hope you're all doing well. In this video, this is the third video in the shell series. Got some beautiful molds here from Temu, and we're looking at the two in the centre are conch shell shaped molds, and then we've got some mini shell molds, and we've got some leaf molds and some fan molds. Going to dust them with some Let's Resin silver metallic powder using just a regular paintbrush. And also we've invested in a silicone stirrer for stirring up resin. All purchased from Temu. To start with, we're going to dust the fan mould with silver metallic powder using the paintbrush, just making sure that everything is picking up all the detail in these moulds. There we go, just making sure we're applying it. There we are. And the third one, so you've got the middle size, large, middle and small size shapes within this fan mould. Thoroughly coating it with all the silver metallic powder and then tapping it. There you go, as you can see. And then we're going to tap it off camera just to get rid of the excess. So here we do the first of the two leaf moulds that we've got. This is a lovely shape. Again, hoping that all the detail is going to come out. These moulds can be used for arts and craft and also fondant and cake decorating. But obviously if you're going to do both, you do need to make sure that you purchase two sets of moulds. One for your cake decorating and one for your crafting. So there we go, lots of lovely detail on the leaves. And this is the other leaf mould that we've got. So this has got a lot of small tiny detail in it. So just making sure you push the brush with the metallic powder onto it into every little detail, all the little nooks and crannies, edges and everything, so it just picks up everything when you demold it later. So there we are, that's that one. And as you can see, all the lovely detail there. And this is the miniature shell and starfish mould. Again, just dusting, making sure that you get every bit covered with the metallic powder. Any overspill that you've got that you can see that I've done there, you can either wait until you demold and then clean up your mould with the surface of the mould with a baby wet wipe or a tiny bit of isopropyl alcohol on a cloth or on a piece of cotton wool. So there we go. We're just doing the starfish one there. I think that's the starfish. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments if you've got a favourite mould that you like the look of, or if you'd like to see us do them in a different colour for a future project. So this is the first of the two conch shells. We're going to show you one that's dusted with the metallic powder on video. Because the other one's a very similar shape and it's just the same sort of thing. So with this one, obviously it's a much bigger mould than the others that I have dusted with the powder. You really need to make sure that you carefully dust all the inside of it. Now, if you've got a different mould, you could maybe turn the mould inside out and dust it with a metallic powder that way, or you can do it as I've done it. Just make sure that you get all the nooks and crannies. So here we are, we're using epoxy resin from Vista, and this is 100 mils of part A to 60 mils of part B. So we're just pouring in 100 mils of part A. Don't forget that if you look, when you open the container, if it looks crystallized, put the lid back on and pop it in a washing up bowl or a bucket of warm water. Leave it for a good 5 minutes, go back and it should have cleared. Then you can use it. And we're going to put in 60 mils of part B, so we're just pouring that in now. There we are. And I mean, there's lots of bubbles in there at the moment, but those will all dissipate. So I decided before mixing the two, part A, part B together, I would put in some of the metallic silver powder. So just using a lollipop stick or a popsicle stick there to pop in a good size pinch, probably about 1/4 teaspoon or 1/2 teaspoon of the powder. To whatever, I mean, quantities, it's up to you. As long as you don't do too much, because obviously you don't want to affect the way that the resin hardens and cures. So just stir it thoroughly, making sure that it's all combined, like we're doing there. Hopefully we won't have too many bubbles in it. Wipe off the stick. This silicone stirring stick was excellent. Again, that was purchased in a set from Temu. Just starting to pour in the resin into the conch shell mould. Just do it very carefully And make sure, of course, that you squidge your corners. And give it a bit squidge around the sides. This is just to try and encourage any air bubbles that might have got trapped to come up to the surface, so that the resin gets to every single last bit of the mould, so then when you demould it, picks up all the detail. So there we are. This is the second one. We're going to do exactly the same thing. We're pouring the resin in gently. You can also pour it in off of the stick if you wish, to try and prevent bubbles. And we're just squidging the corners again, and then just filling it up to the top. Careful you don't have any overspill. It was at this point I realised that the resin in the mould was just a bit too full on one end. It turns out the table that I'm working off of and the surface isn't quite level. So here we go. We're just going to fill up the small shell mould and the starfish. I'm going to be using a pipette here to do it, purely because, knowing my luck, I would try to pour it from the actual resin cup itself and pour it all over the mould rather than actually in the areas where I wanted it to be. And there's nothing worse than clearing up a spill of resin. So we're just filling it up, making sure that it's all up to the surface where we need it to be. Getting rid of any bubbles that have come to the surface. And here we are with the fan mould. Again, using the pipette carefully, because there's a very small channel where you've got the stalk part of the fan. The stalk part of the fan? Can they have stalks on fans? Anyway, the bit that looks like a stalk, to make sure that the liquid resin has actually flowed down through into that detail. There we are, just topping up with a bit more resin from this pipette. Oh, I think I decided at that point I got too much in that one. And this is the final leaf one. Filling it up, again using the pipette to make sure that we don't over pour anything and have spillage. All the way up, trying to encourage it to go into all the little detail, so it's all picked up nicely when we do a demould on this. It would appear that we did have another leaf mould to fill with resin. So just going to fill these up again using the pipette. Got the hang of using it by now. Just popping the resin in a little bit at a time, so it's nice and controlled. And so then it encourages, obviously, to go into all the lovely details, because these moulds are actually quite detailed. There we go. And there's the finished set cured resin in the lovely moulds that we had. I did leave them overnight, so a good 12 to 24 hours to cure. And I did also put the food cover over. And here we are, we're just demoulding. Go careful with these moulds. Obviously you need to take care, because you don't want to rip the moulds or create any kind of damage. It looks like we had a gap there. Some of the resin for some reason moved, or maybe there was a giant air bubble that came up. But having demoulded that one, it all looks okay to me. Sand off the bottoms of the edges there, I think. And then, yeah, look, I mean, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. These are stunning, in fact, that is. And that is exactly what we wanted. And this will go on the bathroom mirror frame that we are doing, which will be a separate project, and you'll see us decorating the mirror and the processes involved with that. Here's the other mould, the other conch shell mould. Again, taking it out, sped up slightly, because otherwise we would be here for a very long time. Because demoulding, if you take care, can take a while, particularly if you get stubborn moulds. There we are, just taking it off. And a little bit of sanding required on the bottom there, just to make it level. And yeah, just need to tidy that up slightly. So you can either use a fine grade sandpaper to do that, a wet and dry one, or just a fine grade one. Make sure that you wear a dust mask for that. Or you can use an emery board or a nail file. So there we are, that's the other conch shell. Beautiful. I mean, these would make lovely trinket bowls, or just items to display around your home, for interior accessories for the home. So there we have both of them together. Slightly different shapes, slightly different type of detail on the outside. Both will look absolutely gorgeous. And next thing we're going to add in, I believe, the 2 clamshell moulds or scallop shell moulds that we did on the previous week's video. So as you can see, those 2 or those 4 together would look lovely along a frame, a photo frame, a picture frame. You could make it, it would make it very 3D. And here we are from the week before that, even from 2 weeks ago, where we used the glitter. So actually those would make a nice set of serving bowls for anything, say an after dinner party, if you wanted to put mints in or chocolates or anything like that. Just make sure if you're going to do that, you use food grade resin. So here we are, we're just demoulding the small shells and the starfish. Lovely. Obviously I've got some more clean up on the surface of that mould to do, which I shall do. And we're just going to turn over each one individually now and hold it up to the camera so that you can see the detail. I mean, look at the detail on that. It looks beautiful. If you didn't know any different, you'd probably think that was solid silver. Obviously it's not. It's the cheaper option. And there we are. There's another type of starfish. Great. And a beautiful shell. Absolutely gorgeous. These would make lovely adornments on hair clips for weddings or parties, or even if you were making a mermaid costume, so mermaid's headdress or costume to go on a costume for a child or an adult. And here we are. These are just beautiful. I'm just in awe looking at these. Absolutely lovely. That one looks a bit like an ammonite fossil. And then another rather lovely one. It's got a bit of a crosshatch design going on that. So again, they're going to look lovely on the frame. And this one now, we're going to demould the fans. So we have the small one, the medium sized one and a large one. Sorry about those hands appearing in the corner. I believe those was my husband. So here we are. That's I think that's the smallest one of the fans. And see the detail, even the detail on the bottom part, the way you would hold it. And then the medium sized one with they're just beautiful. I keep repeating myself by saying they're gorgeous, they're beautiful, they're stunning. There we are. Perhaps, as I said, let me know in the comments which ones you like the best. And here we are, another leaf mould. This is the double one. Looks a little bit like a laurel, but actually when I show you the finished article, you'll see it with all the intricate details on it that it's picked up. So hopefully you can see there on the camera. You can see the veining up the centre of the leaf. You can see the veins and so on the individual leaves. There's a little bit of tidy up needs to be done with these, which I shall use an emery board to do, to get in between the leaves and make sure we get rid of any overspill. And here's the other leaf, the single leaf. This reminds me of ferns, garden fern plants that are beautiful. We have some in our garden. There we are. Definitely looks like a fern leaf. And as you can see, yeah, I've got a bit more cleanup to do of overspill in between the individual fronds, I believe you say. So here we have the lovely shells in the miniature ones with the starfish. It's picked up all the detail. Very, very pleased with the final result of this and looking forward to doing some more. Here are the leaves with the fans, picked up all the detail that we wanted within that. Looking beautiful and will look lovely on the bathroom mirror frame. And then finally, here we have the conch shells in all their lovely silver metallicness. Again, they will look beautiful and do look beautiful. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. We're going to do a new video, this time coming out on Wednesday. Hit the notification bell. Bye.